Literacy strategies. Before, during, and after reading. What do you do before, during, and after reading? Literacy strategies, skills, help individuals better comprehend the text they are reading. Good readers employ literacy skills to assist in reading before, during, and after reading. Think about what you do before, during, and after reading a text. Complete the chart in your notebook. So you need to set up a chart in your notebook that looks exactly like this and brainstorm what you do before, during, and after reading. Now that you've brainstormed what you do before, during, and after reading, let's take a closer look at what others do. Sample brainstorm. Before, during, and after reading. Compare your list with this list and be sure to include any strategies that you did not touch upon in your brainstorming list on your list. Before reading strategies. Before reading, read the title and think about what might happen in the story or what the essay might be about. Does the title suggest any connection to your own life or raise any questions? Recall other selections you may have read by this author. Look at any illustrations. What do they tell you about the story or subject? Look the text over, and sample the text to note its length, organization, level of language, and structure. Pay attention to punctuation. During reading strategies. As you read, ask questions about what is happening. Make predictions about what might happen next. Form opinions about what is going on. Think about your responses and reactions to what you are reading. Making notes can help you focus your thinking as you read. Picture the setting, events, or images in your mind. Sketch them. As you read, imagine how the words will be spoken and see the action. While reading a narrative selection, try the following. Read the first page and pause. What do you know so far about the people, setting, conflict, and point of view? Where do you think the storyline is going? Make connections to what you already know. Who are the people and how are they related to each other? Put yourself in their place. What would you say or do? After reading strategies. Write down favorite quotations from the text. Share and compare them with the partner. Create a visual interpretation of the text, such as a web, story map, or timeline to show the relationship among the major characters and their feelings and attitudes. Create a sensory web of the setting. Use a graphic organizer to illustrate the story's plot or sequence of events. Summarize the content in your own words, orally or in writing. Literacy strategies examined. Now that we have identified different strategies we use while reading, we will look closely at 3 specific skills. 1. Rereading the text to find new meaning. 2. Making inferences. 3. Making connections. These 3 strategies will be assessed throughout the course. Number 1. Rereading the text. The top 10 reasons to reread a text. Number 1. To clarify the ideas when nothing is making sense. Number 2, to gain a clearer understanding of the dialogue and determine who is saying what. Number 3, to identify an important part, main idea, or clue of the storyline. To get a better understanding of the diagram and illustrations. Number 5, to look for answers to questions about the text. Number 6, to confirm or adjust predictions about the text. Number 7, to clarify unknown or difficult words by using the context. Number 8, to scan the text for a specific fact or point. Number 9, to visualize the text, construct a picture in my mind. And number 10, to enjoy rereading a great part of the story. What do I take away from this? Always reread the text. Making connections is the second literacy skill that we are going to examine. This literacy strategy allows readers to comprehend the text better by making personal connections to what they are reading. There are 3 ways to connect to the text. Text to text, text to self, and text to world. Focusing on text to self connections, what does this story remind you of? Can you relate to the characters in this story? Does anything in this story remind you of anything in your own life? Focusing on text-to-text connection. What does this remind you of in another book you have read? How is this text similar to other things you've read? How is this text different from other things you've read? Focusing on text-to-world connections. What does this remind you of in real world? How are the events in this story similar to things that happen in the real world? How are events in this story different from things that happen in the real world? Text-to-self connection. A connection between the text and something in your own life experience. For example, the main character of the text is completing an online course and is struggling with the technology. You are also taking an online course and struggling with the technology. This is a text-to-text connection. Or text-to-self connection, sorry. This should say self. Text-to-text connection. A connection between the text you are reading and another story. For example, the main character in the story you are presently reading has just lost a loved one. You previously read a book or watched a movie television show where the main character is going through the same thing. This is a text-to-text connection. Text-to-world connection. A connection between the text and something that is occurring or has occurred in the real world. For example, the main character of the story you are reading is a rich man who hopes to take over the world through an evil plan. You connect this character to Donald Trump's presidential race. This is a text-to-world connection. Making good connections. Be sure to make connections that are meaningful and enhance understanding. You are expected to make good connections that ultimately show your understanding and reflect critical thinking. Be sure to avoid surface-level connections. A level 4 connection. Good connections that enhance understanding. When I was in 2nd grade, I moved to a new school like Shirley did. I remember feeling like everyone ignored me and missing my home, so I can relate to what's going on. A level 1 connection would be, Shirley likes the Dodgers, so do I. Making connections simplified. Still don't get it? Check out this instructional video. Click the link to check it out. Making inferences. Authors do not always tell readers everything they want them to know. Good readers infer when they want to understand more than what the author has written. Inferring occurs when you understand something that is not stated directly. We infer when we try to read facial expressions, body language, and tone of voice. For example, if you saw a friend looking upset with his arms crossed, you might infer that someone hurt his feelings or he is mad. We infer in many ways in our lives. Inferring when we read is like putting a puzzle together in our minds. Readers combine their own background experience and what the author has written like pieces of a puzzle. They use their own background knowledge and clues from the text to create new meaning. Putting the pieces of the puzzle together helps readers draw conclusions based on clues from the text, make predictions about what will come, understand underlying themes, and construct new meaning. Inferring makes reading much more interesting. When inferring, readers say things to themselves like, I think, this must mean that, based on this I'm guessing that, I predict, I think that happened because. Inferences are conclusions that the reader makes based on evidence from the text and his or her own experience. Here's how you infer. Ask yourself a question as you read. Make a prediction based on the information in the text. Draw a conclusion based on the information you thought about. Throughout the course, you will be expected to make inferences in a chart using the above questions as guidance. I read, quote from the text, Homer looked at Marge and said, maybe just once someone will call me sir without adding, you're making a scene. Example, I know how Homer is feeling. I made a scene several times in McDonald's when they forgot to give me extra bacon on my burger. Now let's apply what you've learned. Making inferences can what inferences can you make while watching the movie clip? Pay attention to the background music and try to draw conclusions about unanswered clues in the clip. Post one inference in the discussion post. Then comment on a peer's post. Either copy and paste this link into a new browser, or click the hyperlink here. Please note if the following link does not work, you must copy and paste the above address into Internet Explorer. Sometimes these don't really work with Google Chrome for some reason. Still don't get it? Check out this instructional video.